Hello, my name is Barbara Marcum, and we're here today with the mayor. And welcome, Mayor. Again, it's great to have you on the show.
It's great to have you back.
Okay, this is Friendship Focus, and I am still doing some educational television, and part of that is what's going on with the mayor, our new mayor. Great job so far. Let's talk about the first year. It's been 9 months, not quite a full year. So how has that been? I know it's a huge job, and when you first go in, like when I was first the director at the center, I was really in shock at how much and all the different things there, the components that are involved. How about your first year so far?
Well, hey, thanks for having me back. It's
Sure.
great to see you again. I hope
Thank
you're
you.
enjoying
Good to
your
see you.
retirement so far, and we certainly miss you over at the Friendship Center.
Thank you.
I hope you're enjoying your summer. But you know, the first 9 months, well, at little over 8 months as mayor, it's been quite a ride. You know, we've gotten a lot done so far, and really tried to hit the ground running. Back last November, we had a little bit of turnover with staff, so we hired 5 or 6 new faces around City Hall, but quite a few of the people who are here have been here for a long time, and they have that knowledge and that history. So, you know, obviously there was a little bit of a stress factor coming in from being a state representative, which is, you know, state level job, and then coming back to local government. I think that job really helped prepare me for this quite a bit, and I had been on city council before, but it's not till you actually get in the mayor's office, you start running the city day to day. It's a full-time mayor here in Westland, working with every department head and then city employees and residents. That's when you really start to wrap your arms around the job. And it was a little hectic the first couple of months, but I think we're starting to smooth out here. We've gotten a lot done so far. We passed our annual budget with city council support unanimously. So yeah, it's going great.
So what in your budget, what did you need to take away? What were you looking at putting in? What was your vision for the city for as far as the budget goes for next year?
You know, a big investment in public safety. That's something that I talked about for years, that police and fire need to come first. That's what the residents depend on, right?
Agree.
You see them out there every day working hard. They need to have the resources to do their job.
Yeah.
Wanted to bring the response times down, especially for EMS. So we're on a federal grant hiring 15 new firefighters. We're budgeting 4 new police officers to get those numbers up, which will bring the response times down. So if you call emergency 911, they're showing up faster. We have state funding now, $10.5 million between the $7 million I appropriated last year, $3.5 million that our state rep Peter Hersberg and our state senator Dana Polhanke worked together on, along with Governor Whitmer's support, to get Fire Station 4 built. So we're going to be rebuilding 2 out of our 4 fire stations over the next 2 years. It's going to be a great addition to our public safety in the city. Police department, there's some new technology for them to do some of their investigative work and catch the bad guys out there. Crime is stable right now in the city, but we want to make sure our PD has the resources they need to do their great work. We got a great department over there. Working with Police Chief Kyle Dahley's been excellent. Fire Chief Stamper has been great to work with, and his whole team as well. Other big updates in the budget is investments in our parks and recreation. So we hired a deputy parks director. We've invested a lot of money in Cayley Park, Corrado Park, Stottlemyre Park, and Curtis Woods Park. We're also going to be doing some pickleball courts off of Hicks near Warren at Hicks Park, which is a park that not a lot of people, it hasn't been highlighted as much as some of our other parks. But I think that'll be great for seniors and people who want to get into that. Pickleball is more and more popular now. So
We've had our league for years before it was ever popular. Yes, it's great exercise.
Yep, and then of course, you know, roads and bridges. I won't get into Merriman Bridge because that's something that people talk about all the time. That's actually a Wayne County project though, so we're really trying to stay on the county, stay on top of that project because they had a lot of delays last year.
Yeah.
Now they're on schedule again for this year to be done by the end of the year. So.
Well, that's always been a problem in the city because as far as plowing the roads and this and that, the fact of the matter is some of our roads are Westland roads, others are Wayne County roads. So people call and complain, and you go, we don't plow that road. Same thing with a project. When it's a Westland project, it's different when it's a county project. Yeah, you may try to light the fire underneath those, but there's really very little you can do. So, I mean, it's hard when people are upset about it. and then you say, well, it's not, our fault. I know they don't like to hear it, but that's the fact.
Well, as mayor, it's my job to make sure that even though there's other levels of government, whether it's federal, county, state, that they're working well with our city and
Right.
staying on track so that our residents are taken care of. So that's what I'm doing.
Well, I'm glad public safety is probably the biggest priority for you, because seniors are watching the news and watching the country, and people who have bad criminal records and no bail and recidivism and all these things. Seniors are very fearful because they're not 20 anymore. They're easily taken advantage of, whether it's physically or through financial exploitation. That is a major concern for them, and I know it's a big relief for them to hear that that's a big priority for you as well.
Sure is.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
All right, tell me a little bit about what's going on at the farmers market.
Farmers market, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I was over there the other day, and they had a children's farmers market where the kids, they had their own little mini businesses, whether it be lemonade, arts and crafts,
Cute.
really cool stuff. And I walked through there, and I thought to myself, I got to spend a little money.
Right.
So I started buying up some of their cupcakes and lemonades and crafts and stuff, and got some gifts for some people. I thought that was cool to let kids do their own farmers market.
Future entrepreneurs.
Right,
That's right.
Yeah, but no, it's really picking up. There's entertainment there. It's on Thursdays every week from 3 to 7 p.m. You have a musician.
Getting bigger too.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
noticed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that park is really hopping these days. So
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Super, super good so far.
Yeah,
Oh,
if people haven't checked it out, please check out the farmers market, because that's pretty cool.
It is very cool. We also have Blues, Brews, and Barbecue coming up. Let's talk a little bit about that. That's coming up in pretty soon, real soon.
Yeah. So that's our biggest event of the year in the city. And I'll tell you something, coming in as mayor, I didn't realize how many events we do throughout the year. I mean, the city does a ton of events. And now we're actually adding more events with Parks and Recreation being expanded, more family programming, senior programming, stuff for people of all ages. But Blues, Brews, and Barbecue, great lineup of musicians coming up August 2nd, August 3rd. You got the drone show Friday night, the fireworks Saturday night. And we actually have a new company that they're the ones who do Arts, Beats, and Eats out in Royal Oak. So they're coming in to help us manage the event now and really grow it. So you're going to see a lot more food, a lot more vendors. The entertainment's going to be even higher quality than before. So very excited about it.
Oh, that's really wonderful. As far as I look at the community, and it's always, Westland is a really unique place to be. And, I've always been of the mindset that, like, if you want a friend, be a friend. If you want a great community, you have to participate in the community, whether it be in an office, on council, on a commission, coming to events, patronizing local business, all of those things. And I think, you know how important it is for community involvement as well. So isn't it nice for you to be able to, in two ways, see people who come to the events, but now we're also talking about the listening tours. I'm sure you've probably met a lot of people that you didn't know before, because I know they're really well attended. So how have those been going for you?
They've been going great. We've been doing at least one every few weeks. One was at City Hall. That was really well attended. The library, huge turnout, almost 100 people there.
Yeah.
We actually had to expand the room out and bring in a bunch more chairs.
Right.
So I showed up and I realized, wow, there's a million people here. We're doing them in different parks throughout different neighborhoods. And really the point of it is to give residents and local business owners or whoever wants to show up a chance to talk to us personally. I call it a listening tour because I don't do most of the talking. I want the residents to share what they think and how they feel. We make note of all the comments and questions, and we follow up on them. We try to incorporate the feedback into what we do day to day here at City Hall, make sure that people's concerns are being heard. And it's been going great. yeah.
Well, in different areas where you've done your listening tours, there are different populations, so that some places have a lot of seniors who attend, others are working families, parents with children. Do you see the same concerns like across the board, or do you see different concerns with different populations?
You see a little bit of variety there. When I was visiting some of the senior homes, or we did one at the Friendship Center right before you retired.
Yeah.
You hear a little more about public safety, police, EMS, people speeding in neighborhoods, transportation, some of those kinds of things. But then at other locations, it's been more of a younger crowd or family crowd where people are bringing up parks and recreation opportunities, school stuff. We don't run the school system, but we do try to assist as much as we can.
Right.
And then, more of your kind of day-to-day, what's going on with the city, what events are coming up. So you get different questions with different locations. And some of it's really hyper-localized where, maybe I'm on the northeast side of the city, Corrado Park, and somebody has a question about a certain street that has potholes on it or something, and hey, we'll get that fixed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good to get that feedback. It really helps us do our job.
Yeah, you can break down the listening tours into two things. One is the questions and the concerns that people have in the community, but the other is from the perspective of residents being able to talk to you and feeling that they have your ear. So how much, when you're listening to what people are concerned about, how does that affect future decisions that you make? That's part A of the question. And B is, why is it so important to you that the residents have an opportunity to talk with you and have you listen to their questions?
Well, it comes down to transparency. People elect us to do the work that they want to see done, right? So, and that can change over time. You might have people 2 years ago feel one way about something, and now things have changed a little bit in the city, and they kind of want to see things go in a different direction. So to have that feedback throughout the year, personally, where people can tell you their own perspectives, and of course you get a lot of different opinions, but we take note of it all, and when we're making decisions, we really try to look into, okay, what are people thinking, how are they feeling about it? Is it really the right way to go? Is it just something that people at City Hall want to see, or does the wider community want to see us go in this direction? And there's tons of decisions to be made when it comes to budgeting,
right,
or as working with the departments and directors and staff. So you want to get a sense of where people are and how they feel about decisions we make, and super helpful.
Yeah, and while their minds may be changed somewhere along the way, same with you. You know what I mean? When you hear things and you see that something is a predominant thought throughout the community, I'm sure that affects the way that you think about certain things as well.
Right.
Yeah, which is really great, because you're right. But to have that involvement, you don't see that a lot with mayors in the cities, that they take the time and make special arrangements to be able to hear what the residents are thinking. And I think that's really one of your talents and one of your gifts. And I think citizens really appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
Oh, yeah, no problem. So I think, as far as the future goes, what is going on with the park next door? I know that, there's been lots of talk and it's moving forward.
Yeah,
How is it
it's a big
moving
question mark right
Yeah.
now. And if anybody who watches city council meetings, they may have seen some debate about how that's being handled and funded. And a little bit of the background, Mayor Wild actually came up with kind of a vision for this part of town near Westland Mall, City Hall, Fire Station 1 on Central City. And how do we kind of rebrand this area? How do we bring in more business activity? What do we do for residents here? That'll be an amenity for everyone. And so there's city-owned land where that old service merchandise was. And when I originally heard that price tag, $10 to $12 million, that was 2 years ago, that got thrown out. I said, wow, that sounds like a lot of money. I don't know about all that. And coming in as mayor, I dove deeper into it, and it came down to having to make the decision: do we proceed with this plan, or do we maybe do something else? And there's a whole lot of other things we could do with that kind of money. But as I looked at the plan, I saw that, you know, and what we've done is we've worked with Wayne County, we worked with the state of Michigan, and also the federal government to combine funds from all different levels of government so that that will be funded from outside sources, not just the city. Actually, no city direct budget money will be used on that project. It's all coming from outside sources. And it offers a performance venue, gathering spaces, walking paths, play areas for kids, places where seniors can gather and families can come together and hang out, share meals, watch different performers perform. There's an amphitheater concept there. So it's going to be a really cool place for our city to do events, especially outdoors. But I think we'll have year-round programming there. Be a lot of cool events going on.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, the opportunities are really limitless because, yeah, they have, like in Charlevoix, they have the amphitheater there. It's right on the lake. But I mean, it's busy and it's busy year-round. So you're right, and I think there's not a place right now in Westland where that I know of that's available for big events like that. I think that'd be really great.
Yeah, we're looking forward to breaking ground actually in the next few weeks here. So it'll either be late August or early September of this year. And we've renamed it Nankin Square and Amphitheater. So I figured we'll keep it simple.
Oh, I like Nankin Square.
Yeah, it's a gathering place where the community can kind of come together. You think of the old town square. That's kind of what we're doing here, but a more modern spin on it. So
yeah, and I love Nankin Mills too. I don't know why they ever did Westland when Nankin Mills sounds, but so I love Nankin Square.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a throwback to the history of the city.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful too. Okay, so if people want to get a hold of you, and I know that some people don't have time to go, you know, to the listening tours, they work during the day or they work midnights. And I'm sure, you know, it's hard after, especially like even at the center after 26 years, you're trying to think of new things to do and all those. And I'm sure, too, like you said, we do a lot of events. And some of the older events, just like classes, people get tired of them. Participation falls off, and you say, okay, we'll get rid of that and try something new. But the thing getting a hold of you, you are crazy busy, but if somebody doesn't really need an audience with you, they just want to give you an idea, how do they get can they do your email? Is there a suggestion box or something where, you know, maybe not even this year, 5 years down the road that they might suggest something different?
I really have always said that I think government officials, people who get elected to office, it doesn't matter the level, they should be accessible to the public. Again, that's why I do the meetings throughout town. But I also have a policy of responding to every communication that I get, whether it be personally or to my office. So I encourage residents, you know, I have a Facebook page, but that's not really the best place to get a hold of me. I get all kinds of spam and messages, so you don't always see everybody on there. Contact our office directly. So email mayor@cityofwestland.com. You can call us 734-713-3888, and then you dial 9 for the mayor's office. And we call everybody back and make sure that we are responsive to their comments or questions. And then I also give out my cell phone number, and people always say don't do this, but I like to hear from people directly. And if I don't call you back the same day, I'm going to call you back within a couple days. 734-751-6321. Most people already have it. Don't call me at 3 in the morning.
Please.
Probably don't want to talk too late at night, but yeah, no, I like hearing from the residents and knowing what's going on, because it's a big city. We're the 9th largest city in the state, 85,000 residents. No one person can know what's going on all over town at all times, but to be able to communicate with residents often is really helpful, actually.
Sure, and I think too with the Parks and Rec and with children, I think it's really important, and one thing that we really don't see so much in our country is patriotism, and I think it's really great to have children be involved, like, you know, with the new stuff with the park and everything, and get those feelings about this is my community and my country. And I think it's never too old to start doing that. And what really upsets me is that people don't understand the freedoms in this country. They don't understand. Everything's now hate America. It's like cultivating that community stuff with children, so important. And I'm really glad, like with Parks and Recreation and those parks and kids getting out and socializing. I think being proud of your community is where it all begins. So I think you do very well with that, and especially with children.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, I
Well,
love
and that's
it.
one of the most rewarding parts of the job is to try to be a good example for other young people.
Yes.
You know, going back 10 years ago, I was elected to city council.
Right?
And before that, I did fundraisers for juvenile diabetes, Alzheimer's Association, Westland Veterans Association. It just kind of started from me wanting to get involved and do something that would help others. But when you help others, it actually helps you because it makes you feel good. And it just became something that was a calling for me. And I didn't know it would lead me to this job or role in the community.
God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, but I think it was meant to be, and
Yeah.
just looking forward to all the progress we're going to make going forward here. So.
Well, you know, and all the civic organizations and everything else, and I'm like you, it's like helping people. It helps you because you're making a big difference. And you know, sometimes a short conversation, something that you say, you don't know how that affects people. It may be something that really changes their life. You never know. You never know what that interaction, where it leads somewhere else. So I understand that. Getting involved with those things, it makes you feel good because you are making a difference. You just don't know what that difference is. Sometimes never. Sometimes years later, people will say, I never forgot what you said. And it shocks you, you know what I mean? But
Yep.
yeah, doing great things in the community is, or one thing at a time, creates a whole big, wonderful world. You know what I mean?
hear ya.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything that you would like to share with anybody that we haven't touched on?
Well, I just want to thank our staff here at the city, whether it's our firefighters, our cops, people throughout every department, the city workers, public service workers, and for how hard they work. You know, being in this role, I'm really seeing firsthand, you know, the dedication and the pride and how much they want to really improve the community. So I just want to thank the city staff for all their great work so far this year, and really looking forward to seeing what we can do together.
Well, you've got a great team, and I know they're very dedicated, and every particular department makes up the whole. So the city is doing great. You're doing great. It's great to have you on my show, and we'll see you again in September.
Thank you, Barb.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, and the viewing audience, for being with us today. I'm Barbara Marcum, and this is Friendship Focus.